Hi guys, this is Zach from Watches on You, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the TOG Heuer 01 in the non-skeletonized dial. So now let's take this down to the table so you guys can get a closer look at it. Okay guys, here's the watch in greater detail, and right away here I'm going to go over this watch's 45mm stainless steel case. Now, the case is finished very well actually. It's got a mixture of polished and brushed edges. You can see that like the crown here is polished, and then it has this black in the middle with the TAG Heuer logo right there. And it just looks nice, very, very modern, a lot of sharp edges. And this actually uses TAG Heuer's new modular case design, where they actually produce the lugs and the bezel and the case back. They produce them basically all separate, and then they put them together to make the watch. And what that can do is that can lower production costs a lot, and you can just make some cool. You can basically take one model and then make it different. They can do a lot of different variations of it. But the variation we have here is just the stainless steel case, 45mm, and then the matte black dial. There is a skeletonized version of this watch which we have previously reviewed, so if you want to learn about that one, go check out that video. But now I'm going to move on to the more specifics of this watch. So one thing that this watch has, which is very interesting, is a ceramic bezel. Now that bezel you can see is polished, but at a watch at a value around $5,000, you don't really see a lot of ceramic bezel watches out there. I mean, some of them, there may be some Omegas, but there just really aren't a lot of them, and that's just very nice because you won't really worry about scratching at all. Ceramic does have a chance of chipping, but being that it's just on the bezel, you shouldn't really have an issue with that. So now I'll move on to the dial. Now the dial, as I said, is a matte black dial. It's got some texturing there, so you can get some different light refractions off of it, which look very nice. Now there's also different levels. You can see that the indices are very raised and applied. They're metal, and then you can also see where the indices lie right next to the chaptering. It kind of goes down, and then there's a nice slate gray color, and that's just very cool, as it adds a cool depth to the dial and just makes it look very kind of chunky, modern, and brash, which is really what this watch is going for. So now I'll demonstrate the chronograph. Now the chronograph uses TAG Heuer's Heuer 01 movement, which they have released fairly newly released, and it's really one of their first truly in-house movements. A lot of their others are based on ETA and other companies. This one is really a true in-house, which I like. As really the other watches I don't really like how TAG Heuer uses out-of-house, non-in-house movements, but this one's got a nice in-house, which I really like. So now I'll demonstrate the chrono. Oops, sorry there. So the top pusher does the starting and stopping, and I'll start it right there. The action is very good. Now it uses a column wheel movement, which you can see right there. That's that little red thing, and what that is that's kind of the actuator for the chronograph. So you can see when I do the start and stop right there, you can see it going around, and that just allows the chronograph pushers to really function. So it's stopped right there, now it's gonna go, and now I'll reset it. So to reset it, you just pop it back with the bottom pusher, and it flies right back. So the action on these is very good, very, very smooth, as it's got a column wheel that makes that action quite a bit smoother, and column wheels are a lot harder to make than cam chronographs, so it's really good that they put in the extra effort there to make it a column wheel. So the basic makeup of the movement and how it works is you have a running seconds on the left there. At 12 o'clock you have a minute counter for the chronograph, and then at 6 o'clock you have an hour counter for the chronograph, up to 12 hours. And then this is up to 30 minutes at the top. So that's very, very useful for just timing things in everyday life. And then one other complication that this watch has is a white date wheel back at 3 o'clock. Sorry there. So now I'm actually going to move into the movement a little bit. So as I said, it's got a brand new Heuer 01 movement, which is fully in-house. It's really one of their first fully in-house movements. And you can see right there that it's got some different elements of finishing. You have this nice black rotor right there. This is an automatic movement. And then you have some nice Geneva striping, or Côte de Genève, on the top plate there. But now one other thing, now I don't know if you can see this, that I don't really like about what they did with this is, I don't know if you can see there, but it kind of looks like they really only finished the top plate. So most high-end watches will finish really kind of every plate going down, but you can even see that really they only did the Côte de Genève on the first top plate. They didn't really add any perlage, and that I don't really like. That kind of shows a lack of effort, and it just doesn't seem right to me. If you're going to finish a movement, I think you should finish everything not just everything you can see or the main parts. You should really kind of finish the whole thing the same quality. I mean, being though that it's a $5,000 watch, it's not a Patek Philippe, it still, I think, should have a little bit more finishing to it, such as like a Longy, even though those are not fully in-house movements. So now moving on to a wrist shot. So this is a 45 millimeter case size, and that's quite large for a watch, but I mean that really fits the style that this watch is trying to go for. It's going for kind of big and brash and loud, really, and it really does that very well. You can see it's got a very modern look on the wrist, pretty thick, but it's a great sports watch size. Some people that have smaller wrists might be a little big for you, but for me it fits about right. I mean, but now going over it overall, and actually, by the way, it has this beautiful supple rubber strap that's extremely comfortable, and this nice metal stainless steel point clasp. But so overall, this watch is a great option if you're looking just kind of for a more brash sports watch. That's a chronograph. It's got a nice in-house movement, column wheel, which you don't really find that much at this price point. And it's just a really nice piece. Now, personally, I probably wouldn't go for this. Being that it's $4,950, I would probably go for like a pre-owned Rolex or something, as I like more kind of classic pieces. This watch, though, I think a lot of people would really like, and it's for sure different than really most other Tag Heuer watches. So this watch is available here, though, at JB Hudson Jewelers, an authorized dealer of Tag Heuer, for $4,950. So be sure to like this video and subscribe. Thank you.